Do you think you could have done that fine-tuning without expert feedback?
No, kind of coming into STARTrading and seeing what Sophie had in terms of success and support, and how it's not just a load of random PDFs and somebody saying, oh, that will be £2,000, thanks very much. Yeah, just the success of it has been really encouraging. That's been the best thing.
And today we are joined by the wonderful Simon.
I wanted to do some personal development, learn some new skills.
And why not learn a skill that makes you money?
Absolutely right.
We tailor our approach within the program to each person because it has to make sense for you and the way your brain works. Hello and welcome to this episode of Surprise Marriage Counselling.
No, it's an intervention!
It's an intervention.
Simon!
In all seriousness, welcome to this episode of STARTrading with me, Lewis.
And me, Sophie.
And today we are joined by the wonderful Simon.
Hello.
Yes. So Simon, you are one of our students. You also happen to be married to someone in this room.
Me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not me. Woe is me. Yes, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, what you kind of do, and what got you into trading.
Well, this is going to sound like there's a pattern forming in my life, but I work with my wife as well.
Yeah.
Sophie and I have a property business together, which is our day-to-day work. It's how we're building our way into long-term livelihood. And then about 6 months ago, Sophie started with STARTrading. She got to know you, started on the platinum mentorship, and I was always looking over her shoulder, looking at the charts, going, "Ooh, this looks like a bit of me," because it's kind of like data and interesting looking things. And I think she eventually just got fed up with me asking questions and just said, "You know what? Talk to Lewis, get yourself onto the mentorship and get cracking."
Yeah, but I think you were like me and probably most people when they start, which was like, you were like, oh, you're doing some trading. I don't know what that is. That looks a bit odd. And then you saw me learning and then live trading and then making a bit of money suddenly. And you were like, oh, can you show me that? Can you show me that? And then Forex in 5 came up. Yeah. And I was like, I was actually trying to explain it and I couldn't explain it very well. So I was like, this is a good explanation. Go and watch Lewis and the team.
Do you know, it's so good that you say that though, because there is a lot of people who can actually trade, but that is a different skill set to being able to teach people how to trade. And it's actually rare to get a combination of the two. People who can actually trade and can also teach people to trade as well. So yeah, I think you kind of made the right decision because it is hard to explain. Yeah. Brilliant. I wanted to put back to something you said as well, because you're quite data, you like data. Are you, Sophie, naturally into data? Or is like, because for me, I'm not into data, but I obviously have to use it to be a successful trader. So I think a lot of people, like Simon, get attracted to trading because it's like all data, all analysis. So I quite like a bit of that. Whereas other people like me, I just think, oh, this can make me money. This is quite exciting. This is quite fun. Oh, crap, I have to deal with some data.
Yes. I do like a spreadsheet, but I can't be bothered with it all. I'll do it because I have to.
Yeah, that's me.
And it's good to have it. It's good to rely on it and to trust it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're a details guy, aren't you?
I'm very much a details guy in our work. That's kind of how we complement each other in our work as well. Sophie has the strategy, she's got the overview, she goes for the broad strokes, and this is what we're aiming for. And then I kind of go and right, but how are we going to do that? What are the little bits and pieces? So, and that's kind of how it's interesting when you go through the training. You get to find out about yourself a little bit more. Can you be too detailed? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was kind of where I found that I've tripped up a little bit, but I'm improving all the time.
Yeah. So what made you decide to learn this for yourself as well then? Because some people might think, well, I've got another half that's doing like this is my other half. Well, I don't need to do it because you're doing it. So no interest whatsoever, just happy for me to crack on and do it myself. So what made you think, I want to do this as well for me?
Yeah, right, because we're married, so we kind of would be sharing investments, so it doesn't make a huge amount of financial sense for us both to be doing the same thing. So it was just really, like you say, it was for myself. I wanted to do some personal development, learn some new skills. Yeah,
and why not learn a skill that makes you money?
Absolutely right. Also, just competitiveness.
Oh, we're going to have to track this
background.
going forward.
I'm finally getting even, Lewis, because a long time ago it was my dream job to become an air traffic controller. Yeah. And I got through. You get to be like the top 1% of people who apply to be offered training, and I got through. I was like, here we go. I'm on my way to my dream career. Yeah. 6 months of training in, Sophie was going, what's all this about weather, and what's all this about navigation, and what's all this about systems? She said, I quite like the look of this. I might apply too. Bugger me if she didn't get in as well. So this is like my turn to turn around and say, oh, well,
So you get this all just basically a long-term revenge plan. That's what this is, yeah.
Isn't that what marriage is?
That is what marriage is, yeah.
I think you might beat me actually, because I'm doing the 3 strategies live, right, and absolutely loving it. But there's a 4th one.
Yeah.
Okay, and the 4th one is.
And I love how you told me that, by the way, like I didn't know.
Lewis,
Did you know? There's a 4th strategy.
The secret one. But it can only be done quite early in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be real with myself and be like, I will not do this strategy.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a morning person. I've got young kids and I snooze as much as I can, and then I rush around getting them ready for school. So I'm not going to carve in any trading time. However, my wonderful husband, he's up at like 5-6, he gets in his ice barrel, he's got a whole routine, and I think you're going to be great at the early morning one.
Well, if I get a whole extra 4th strategy all to myself, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But then I lose on the other 3 because I'm really analytical, so I spend ages and ages going, oh, no, not that one. Oh, no, not quite. Whereas you're just like, yep, bang, 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 off we go.
So at this stage, you're probably how far away do you think you are from like live trading now then?
So on my last group coaching call, Josh said I was probably going to give him 2 more weeks of consistency, and then he'd be happy for me to go live on pullbacks.
Brilliant, fantastic. So that's kind of within that 8-week time frame, which is what we kind of set for the first strategy. So within that time frame, how have you noticed your own analytical nature being a help? How have you noticed it being a hindrance?
Good question.
I thought it was, thank you.
I think I thought it was a hindrance more than it was, to be honest, because when you start back testing, you go all the way back to wind the clock back 5 or 6 years and then start, and you kind of find yourself clicking through candle after candle after candle on the dailies going, I'm not seeing anything, I'm not seeing, oh, that's not it. And resetting, before you know it, you've got into like 2022, 2023, and I'm like, I still haven't found something. Am I overthinking this? So then you start kind of, the needle swings the other way and you start taking silly trades.
Yeah.
So the first like week or 2, I was kind of swinging backwards and forwards, and my spreadsheet just had a lot of bad, loss. But yeah, so it was just all about kind of fine-tuning that and finding the balance.
Yeah. Do you think you could have done that fine-tuning without expert feedback?
No, absolutely not. It really takes somebody else's pair of eyes to say, look, this is a pattern we see in other people that have your kind of brain. So to be aware of it, and then also just having those regular catch-ups to go through all your trades and point out exactly where over-analysis can be helpful and where it's holding me back.
Yeah. It's so interesting because the way that we would coach both of you is different because of your predisposition to over-analysis or lack of analysis and just going through it. It's so and that's why we always say we do, not that we tailor the program, but we tailor our approach within the program to each person, because it has to make sense for you and the way your brain works. So what's been your favorite thing about your journey with trading so far?
It's probably the overall success of it. I came from this completely on the outside. To me, when I hear Forex, when I hear trading, it kind of all goes into like one glob with Bitcoin and gambling and all these things that I've just been taught growing up in kind of like a financially adverse home. That's bad and it's just dangerous and you're going to lose all your money and it's just a silly idea. And when you spend time on social media, you see more of people going, oh, I'm selling this course or I'm doing this, and you just kind of all, if you're a cynic already, it just kind of pushes you further and further away. So kind of coming into STARTrading and seeing what Sophie had in terms of success and support, and how it's not just a load of random PDFs and somebody saying, oh, that will be $2,000, thanks very much, off you go. Just the success of it has been really encouraging. That's been the best thing.
The learning curve as well is really clear, isn't it, to follow?
100%, yeah. And it doesn't feel like you just have to read some stuff and then off you go. There's always the support there.
Yeah. So in one sense, getting over those hurdles of being skeptical was, you had a bit of an unfair advantage in one sense because you saw Sophie doing it, so you kind of got a bit of an insight into the process. But when you then went on Forex and 5, what kind of changed for you then as well doing Forex and 5 that made you think, actually, this is something I want to do?
It was the community. It was the idea that there's a community behind it as well. You're not just sat on your own scrolling through charts wondering if this is right. It's the regular check-ins. It was the structure that's there as well, and just the friendliness of it all. Everybody that came in, that was part of the team, And the testimonials that were from people that were already going through the mentoring, it was just really encouraging. It just seemed like a really trustworthy and friendly place to be.
Yeah. Which is what we work hard to create.
There you go.
I say we work hard. Everyone's just lovely.
Everyone's just nice. Yeah. What challenges have you had in your learning and your training?
Probably time management. At the moment, we've been a bit busy, but I think just finding the time to slot in that half hour, like you say, for me, it's now a habit in the mornings. So getting that under my belt to begin with was a bit of a challenge.
Is that before or after the barrel?
Barrel.
We've literally got a barrel in our
I'm jealous. Yeah, I want one of them.
Do you?
Yeah.
You probably don't want mine. It's not like...
I'm not having a second-hand barrel.
No. We wouldn't want one
Is it
like
a whiskey barrel?
It's a sherry barrel.
Oh, a sherry
It
barrel.
smells
Okay.
delicious.
Yeah. Do you not just come out a bit pickled?
Yeah, sometimes you walk through the house. Oh, he's a bit alcoholic for this time of day. Yeah, no, it comes after the barrel. But yeah, no, the biggest challenges have just been that whole having the confidence in myself, because I did have a little bit of low self-esteem sometimes around new things. But yeah, it was just having the support there to bring you through those times and go, no, come on, have confidence, you can do it.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, 100%.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question about other forms of investment. So were you looking at any other forms of investment, maybe more traditional styles, before deciding to get involved with trading? Or is it kind of like, oh, you just stumbled upon this and thought, go with this?
Stumbling across it, it's turned out to be a really good fit, because at the moment we've got a property business, but we haven't got our own owned properties yet. So that's something that we're definitely still working towards, but we've got quite good cash flow.
Yeah.
So it's always thinking about how can we make that cash work better.
Yeah.
I'm not at a point where I'm going to suddenly divert all of my earnings into trading, but I can certainly see how over time taking advantage of the compound interest that it's going to offer me and the amount of time that it takes to make the money work well is something that I really want to make use of.
Amazing. Brilliant. Very exciting stuff. Well, I'm very excited to watch your journey. I can't wait for you to get revenge and be the best trader in the house. And then in a few years' time, your kids will take over that baton, won't they?
Oh,
so,
maybe.
yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And the sooner you start, the better.
Yeah.
Because if we go back to compound interest,
Yeah.
which I keep banging on about, the sooner you can start, the bigger the snowball will get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of questions about traditional investing. One of them was a bit of an aggressive question, but I love the question because it just comes from a place of, I don't understand. So I'm trying to understand, but you're kind of blowing my worldview here. So now I've got questions and I feel like maybe there's a different way of doing things. So the question was, how can STARTrading teach people to outperform hedge funds and banks? Is basically the question. Like, if hedge funds are only making 10 or 15% per year, how are we then able to say you can then do this? And there's a few ways to answer that question. I'm a big fan of the phrase, you can cut the onion in many different ways, or cut the cake.
What does that mean? Cut the onion in different ways?
You can go that way, you can go that way, you can go that way. There's just so many ways to... Is it cut the
So
cake?
instead of skinning cats,
Yeah.
it's a more vegan friendly
Yeah.
version of that.
Yeah, it's a
Cut the
vegan friendly
onion,
version, the way to cut the mushroom, I don't know. Anyway.
So if someone doesn't know anything about investing, then should we run through what options they have and what returns they might likely get?
I will do my best to do that off the top of my head, yes.
Yeah.
So traditional one would be putting just money in a savings account, right? So an ISA, people think an ISA is more like an investment account. It's not, it's just another savings account. If you're lucky at the moment in an ISA, you might be making 5% per year, which is still far lower than what inflation is. So you're still losing money. You could invest in a property fund. That's another way. There's loads of different funds for all different types of thing. In a property fund, you're maybe looking at, well, depends on the fund, but anywhere from 8% to probably 12% is kind of an average. I'm sure there's some that maybe give a little bit more, maybe 15%. Again, this is annual returns. You could buy government bonds and things like that. They tend to be maybe around 8% that you can make on an annual basis, but you have to lock it in for a very long time. And you're still kind of gambling with inflation, and they tend to bring it down. You could put it into an ETF tracker. I'm doing quite well at these, aren't I? You could put it into an ETF tracker, like an index tracker, which basically will track a particular index. So it might be the FTSE, it might be the Dow Jones. Now, the numbers on this, are very questionable. But they say on average, over a long period of time, you might make 10% per year. Great. You do have to pay tax on that as well, unless it's in an ISA or a self-invested pension pot thing. But generally, you'd have to pay tax on that. And you'd have to go through someone like Hargreaves and Lansdowne, probably a good one to go to do something like that. But then they'll take their commission and they'll take their fee and everything like that. If you're doing it through a financial agent, broker, then they'll also take their commission. So then you're losing fees, you're losing percent there. And if it underperforms, but it underperforms less than other people have underperformed, then they'll still charge you a management fee. Even though you've lost money, they'll charge you on that loss as well. So these are kind of like the main things that people use. They always forget about the hidden fees that are involved, and they're not actually great returns compared to something like trading. So trading as an individual, so a retail trader is what an individual trader is called. So I'm a retail trader, you guys are retail traders. It's because we're trading our own capital. We're not trading on behalf of somebody else. We can generate better returns than that because A, it's a small amount of money. And when I say it's a small amount of money, you could still have £1 million in your trading account. You would still be smaller than a bank. You would still be smaller than a hedge fund. Hedge funds have multiple millions, if not billions of pounds under management. So you want to make sure that you're not conflating the style of trading a hedge fund has to do with the style of trading that we can do and how we can operate. So we can be in and out of the market a heck of a lot quicker than a hedge fund. They're subject to tighter regulations as well in terms of the behavior, the way that they can trade. And that's not meaning that we're unregulated. We're still regulated through the brokerage system. It's just different. So we don't have to meet quite so many rules and criteria as they do. So the banks, people are like, well, why don't you put your money just put your money in the bank? That's safer. How can you beat the interest rates? That one always actually really frustrates me because I think it's really naive when people think, how are you beating the banks? Well, what do you think the banks are doing with your money? So do you really think you're putting £10,000 into the bank in a savings account and they're doing nothing with it? No, it's numbers on a screen. It's literally just fake money. I mean, don't even get me into fractional reserve. That's a whole other conversation. So you put your £10,000 in the bank. It's not even in the bank. They've taken it out and they're investing it on their trading floor, in property, in this, in that, in schemes, whatever it is. They make, maybe even if they do make 5%, some of them will be making 5% per month. That means they've made 80% compounded for the year. They're giving you 5% per year when they've made 80%. And you're happy to let that happen. It's a madness to me. It's an absolute madness to me. And it's just the naivety, and it's naivety from a lack of knowledge. So they just don't realise that your money isn't in the bank. You think it's in the bank. That's why they don't like it when you try to withdraw your money. Go to the bank and try and take £10,000 of your money out right now. They will make it hard work. Why? Because it ain't there. It's somewhere else. I genuinely encourage people to go and do that as a little test and see what happens.
Let's all do it next week.
Lewis Crompton has single-handedly caused the decline of the UK banking market.
A run on the banks.
I can't help but think of Mary Poppins in that. Do you know that scene in Mary Poppins where the kids ask for their £1 back from the bank? Yeah. But it's true. Like that's actually what the issue is. Like the banks do not have your money sat in the bank. They've got it deployed out in other investments to make the money work hard for their benefit, not for yours, and they give you a pathetic return. Why are the banks all of a sudden able to give 5% when 2 years ago it was 0.2%? It's made up.
It's because they're really kind.
Yeah, they're so kind and so lovely, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like it's actually like, come on, people. Like it's a joke. Yeah. So the reason why we outperform hedge funds is because we have to trade. Well, we can trade rather very, very differently to them. We have small amounts of capital, so it's not as hard for us to move that money around. And we aren't just giving our money to the bank to do what we do anyway with our money. We do it for ourselves because we've become financially empowered.
Yeah. So if someone is looking to start investing, leaving the money in the bank account is probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Although I would say have a little fund, have an emergency fund for yourself
definitely.
of 2, 3, 6 months worth of salary to cover you. Then you've got savings accounts and ISAs and things, which could be a small percentage, 5, 6. You could do property or index funds, which could be up to 10%. And then we've got trading like we do, 5 to 10% a month.
Yep. Which one are you going to go for? It is a no-brainer. And it only takes you 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Why have you not mentioned buying historic vehicles and then having them sat in the garage? Is that not really a form of investment?
I think that's another podcast altogether.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Yeah, but then there's watches, right? There's artwork. There's like buying gold. There's all sorts of things we could.
Yeah, a lot of people do invest their money in those things. And for me, I mean, I'm wearing one, but this is a dead asset. It doesn't cash flow. It doesn't make money. It's not for me now, I've bought a couple of them and I've got a load of art. I'm like, apart from the fact I love the art that I own, that's a bit different. But the watches I own, what's the point? They're not making me money. Oh, but they go up with inflation. No, they don't. Inflation was 10%. This watch did not go up in value 10% last year. It's not held its value. It's gone up, don't get me wrong, but it's not actually keeping track with inflation. So, yeah, trading for the win.
Do you feel like the type of trading that you're doing and the type of trading that you mainly work in has kind of spoiled you in a way?
Yeah.
Because you look at those other types of investment and go, yeah, it is an investment, but it's not as good.
Definitely. I think even with property, I like property because it's longer term. It's an asset I can pass down. Like if I have kids and they decide they're not interested in trading, then fair enough. It's not for everybody. But then what can I give them? Because I can't pass on that knowledge. I could give them a whole load of cash, but they're not necessarily going to know what to do with that cash. Whereas a property, I can leave that to them, which is why I'm very glad I traded up my trading account, built it to the point I could then buy property and then reinvested and direct to those investments in other places. So yeah, I think I have been spoilt a little bit. But also just waking up and realizing the whole money system is a joke. Like it's an absolute joke. And taxation is a joke as well. We tax the wrong people, we don't tax the right people, and it's just a whole big mess. But I'm going to avoid my...
Should we go into
next.
politics then?
Yeah, I think we should.
I think we should
Out
have
with
a
the gun.
snack.
I think we should have a snack, yeah.
Would you like a lovely surprise from Simon?
Oh, yes,
Who was
please.
allowed to choose a savoury snack for you?
So it's been an honour to be on, but this is going to be the greatest honour because having listened to the episodes previously, I've been like, I know exactly what I'd like to give Lewis.
Oh, I'm very intrigued.
It's unusual. I
Okay.
hope you're okay with unusual.
I'm very okay with unusual, yeah.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to shut my eyes.
Here we go. Rustly bag time.
Love a rustly bag.
Here comes the suspense. Although the item itself does not rustle. Would you like to pass it to Lewis? I didn't know whether
I have
to
no
This is
idea
gonna
what to
be
expect.
So underwhelming.
Close up
I mean,
on
you did build it
Lewis's face,
up.
please.
I won't
Yeah.
lie.
You can now open your eyes.
I am surprised. I am very surprised.
What can you see?
It's a savoury snack.
I mean, you also went for the cheapest ones you could. So I can see it's called an egg protein pot. So it's 2 boiled eggs.
They have been peeled
And cooked.
for convenience.
I mean, that's very true. I mean, yeah. I will eat an egg.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent.
So, oh,
Do you like an egg?
oh, it's just that protein whiff has just hit me right in the face. Oh, flipping heck.
That smells exactly like the tube. That smells
That
like the
does smell
central
exactly
line.
like the tube, yeah. So, I do like an egg. I'm mildly intolerant.
Oh,
Yeah.
EpiPens at the ready.
just have a little.
Intolerant, not allergic. So
Okay.
it'll be an issue for tomorrow morning. Yeah, no, I do like eggs, yeah. Oh, it's all drippy. Right. That's an egg.
It's what you
Refrigerated this egg.
expected. Sorry.
Have you refrigerated?
I read the label. It says packaged in a protective atmosphere, so that's kind of taken over from the
Is that why
refrigeration.
it's damp? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to try an egg?
No, Simon can try one.
Yes, Simon, you must.
Oh, do I get?
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
there you go.
Not only to be on here, not only to give the gift of a
But
snack,
to receive it as well.
but to share.
Yeah. Oh, down in one.
What do we do?
Yeah. As well, you know, sometimes the egg yolk can be quite dry,
Yeah.
so then you get a bit like. Then exactly, then you need the water. You basically need to make it mayo in your mouth. Right, Sophie, I'm gonna try.
Can we
and
have a
roast-
score for the egg?
Oh yeah, surprise 10,
Well done.
taste 3. I'm
Oh,
afraid.
Mm.
Yeah.
Took mine off the ball.
I like salt with a salt on my egg, and there's no salt. So
The more expensive versions come with
do they?
seasonings
Ah.
If
I
they don't.
quite know where to rest this, but
in the pots if you like.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to the hole in one. That was impressive. Right, so
I regret.
I'm gonna get
okay. You have to look away.
this one. There you go, I've got it. Right. You may turn.
Oh, yes.
These are phenomenal.
Ah, that's a very good surprise. It's Cadbury Caramilk buttons.
Have you ever had these before?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, you are in for a treat. I
Golden
love
caramel.
these. These are very nice.
How's that going to be after egg?
I don't think I want to go there actually. To be perfectly honest, I need to go up the savoury scale.
Mmm.
Are they filled?
No.
Mmm. Mmm. That's very enjoyable. Yeah, surprise 9. I'd say taste, I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
There are 10 out of 10.
Good job.
There you
Very
go.
nice.
I'm really enjoying these. These are going to be demolished. So, thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the Star Trading Podcast. We will see you at the next one.
Bye.